Hello and welcome back to the Good Green Home Show with Rich Christakis and Shauna Coronado. And it's time for our interview. And today we have a great guest. This guy is one of my favorite people. We've gotten to know each other a little bit over the last year and a half or so. And his name is John Moyer. He's actually the outreach coordinator for the Puppy Mill Campaign for the Humane Society of the United States. Hello, John.
Hey, how you doing, Rich?
Hey, it's nice to see you on.
Yeah, doing good. How are you?
Oh, great. Thanks again so much for having me on the show today. I greatly appreciate it. Again, thanks so much for all the wonderful work that you're doing.
Oh, thank you. And likewise, I tell you what, you're doing some wonderful things. I'm following on social media, and you know, you're making some huge strides in getting things to happen for your cause. So, and we're on the same team here. And Shauna here, my co-host, she and I share the same passion for rescue animals.
Mm-hmm.
She's been very happy about all the things that we're doing too. So, we're going to get right into this and going to, do an interview with you and just ask you a couple questions, and hopefully we can educate the listeners and the viewers. And, I know you know a lot about the statistics and things, and how many puppies are in shelters across the United States each year? How many dogs and puppies?
Well, approximately 6 to 8 million dogs and cats
Wow.
are dropped off, surrendered, found stray, or just left at shelters, United States shelters across the United States. And approximately 3 million of those are euthanized every year because there just aren't enough homes for them.
Oh.
And again, that's why it's so important to consider adoption as a way to bring your next best friend into your family.
Absolutely, or spay and neuter your animals.
Yes.
My heavens, I can't imagine. 8 million is like astounding, that number.
And then 3 million of them being euthanized is an extreme. That's
sad.
it's almost genocide.
And it is so important. Like you said, spay and neuter is definitely part of the message. Consider adoption as part of the message. Working with your, dogs and cats, with any behavioral issues. There are definitely a lot of trainers out there. So there are a lot of ways to keep those wonderful family members in your household.
Well, I'd like to know, because everyone talks about puppy mills. I want to know, what is a puppy mill exactly?
Yes, well, that's a great question, Shauna. A puppy mill is a dog breeding operation in which the health of the dogs is disregarded in order to maintain a low overhead and to maximize profits. Basically, I mean, we've had puppy mill raids, and to see these animals in these basically wire bottom rabbit hutches for the majority of their lives, because their sole purpose for the puppy mill operator is for them, these dogs, these mother and father dogs, to basically produce puppies for the pet trade. And again, they don't get the same attention that our dogs and cats, get in our households. I mean, they're there to produce puppies, and the conditions that they're living in are horrendous. They live in the extreme temperatures, like the freezing cold weather out now. I mean, a lot of them are exposed to that. Again, in the summertime, similar situation. They don't get the vet care they should get. Sometimes their teeth are rotting out of their mouths. They're very matted, and the food and water is questionable. So again, that's why it's so important for us to raise awareness about why people should consider adoption and not support the puppy mill industry.
So as the outreach coordinator of the Puppy Mill Campaign, are you like researching these places and coordinating raids, or what exactly are you doing to help cut back on the abuse of puppy mill operations?
Well, we do research. We have a hotline, actually, it's the Mill Tip Pop hotline. And basically, anybody has inside information about a puppy mill in their community, or that they know about, that they have actually seen some of the conditions in, they could call. That's 1-877-MILL, MILLTIP. And we have a manager in our animal rescue team that receives those calls. And so, they can follow up with local law enforcement. We can't actually go on a property and confiscate any animals. Basically, we reach out to local law enforcement. They would go out and do the inspection. And then a lot of times, of course, they'll look to us to see if we can help them, to come out and actually help with the investigation and the confiscation and getting those animals, out of a bad place and into a better one. And in order to do that, we have what we call emergency placement partners across the country. Those are a lot of 501c3 shelters and rescues that are that we work with, and in those cases, if they have openings in their shelters, once we get them out of that bad situation coordination with the, of course, with helping local law enforcement, then get them vetted and get them to those shelters that have openings so that they could care for them in the interim until they get adopted out into a loving family.
John, is there a segment of the population that is, or part of the country where this is more of an issue, or is this a nationwide issue, and all walks of life are causing these puppy mills to be able to stay in business?
Yeah, it's all across the United States. There's some states obviously are more than others, especially in the Midwest, Missouri, Arkansas. There are a number of Missouri is considered the puppy mill capital of the world, and then of course Pennsylvania does have a lot as well. They're considered the puppy mill capital of the East. Again, so they're hidden, and they're hidden for a reason. I mean, most of them don't want anybody to come in and see what they're doing and how these animals are being treated, and that's why a lot of people still are not familiar with what a puppy mill is. And I'm glad, Shauna, that you asked that question, so that hopefully your listeners do hear about that. And there are a lot of things that they can do to help stop the puppy mill industry, and part of that again is considering adoption first. Instead of, again, the puppy mill industry, as I was mentioning, it produces like 2 million plus puppies a year. And when you look at the 3 million dogs and cats that are being euthanized every year, it just makes a lot of sense to stop supporting that cruel industry for many reasons, and instead consider adoption. But yeah, it is an issue all across the country, and some of the ways that we find out about it, again, is through our tip line. But we also go online and we can look up the USDA. Those puppy mills that are licensed are required to be licensed and inspected in order to sell to a pet store or over the internet. So we do take a look at the USDA inspections to see if what the violations are. And again, we put out a report every year stating what some of the worst puppy mills in the United States are, and you can find that on our website. And I'd certainly like to get you all the information that you need for your listeners to get that information.
Oh, absolutely, John. And now, you said that there's, you guys are taking a look at, the inspections from the USDA, but has there been any legislation in recent years or months that has helped to, make it better, or, make it harder for these operations to continue to exist?
Yeah, actually, up until just a short while ago, when the Animal Welfare Act was passed back in 1966, it didn't really take into consideration the internet. And as I had mentioned just a few minutes ago, any puppy mill operator or commercial breeder is required to be licensed and inspected by the USDA before they can sell to a pet store. But because a lot of these puppy mill operators were selling over the internet, they were calling themselves a pet store, and a pet store isn't required to be licensed and inspected by the USDA. So in those cases, they were basically taking advantage of a loophole, and they were selling these puppies over the internet, on pretty websites, and customers would get duped into believing that these puppies are living on farms and they're being treated wonderfully, when in fact they were living in these, basically in a lot of cases, very egregious conditions. A lot of times rabbit hutches, small enclosures where they never get out, they never get exercise, they never get the grass underneath their feet, or again get the love and attention that all our dogs and cats should have. So that actually, the retail rule was just recently passed, and so now any puppy mill operator or commercial breeder that's selling over the internet or to pet stores is required to be licensed and inspected. There are basically, limits as far as how many they'd have to have before they qualify and things like that. And again, I could certainly address that, and we've got that information on our website. Also, our website, our website address is www.humanesociety.org/puppy mills.
Okay.
So a lot of information can be gathered from there. But yeah, we've got federal legislation. So that would be federal legislation. We just had the puppy mill imports rule that had passed on a federal level, and again, that requires that countries outside of the United States now can't ship their puppies into the United States. Basically, they would have to be they'd have to be at least 6 months old. They'd have to have all their vaccinations. Again, there are restrictions there. So on a federal level, we get legislation passed whenever possible to help make these conditions less inhumane for these animals. On a state level, we have puppy mill bills passed in Oregon and other states, and we're trying to get those passed as often as possible. And on a local level, local ordinances, on a city or county level. For example, the Cook County and the city of Chicago.
Yep.
Very much on board. So, and those, all the legislation is slightly different depending on the state or the city or whether it's federal. But like, for example, in a lot of the local levels, they're requiring there to be a retail sales ban. And basically what that means is that a store, if it passes, the store would not be able to sell puppies from a commercial breeder that they're getting from a commercial breeder. Instead, they would need to work with local shelters or, shelters and rescues and animal control facilities to adopt out. And sometimes it's for dogs, cats, and rabbits. Sometimes it's dogs and cats. And again, there's slight variations. And again, it's there's a lot that goes into those. And of course, the support of the community is important. And, council members and, just spread the word. It's about raising awareness. It's just so important.
Absolutely. And social media has done a great job of helping spread the awareness as well. And, I know part of what you're doing, and I don't know if you've gotten to it yet, but part of what you're doing is you're also helping pet stores that had previously been selling puppies transition into being rescue operations. And
Yes.
You've done some wonderful work. Can you give us some statistics over the last, maybe last couple of years on how many stores you've been able to convert, help them convert, and then also, how many adoptions has that actually produced instead of sales?
Yeah, and that's a great question. And two of our wonderful blueprint examples would be Alice and Pullman Nursery. I mean, the work that y'all are doing. We, of course, talk to you and Sandy and others at your stores, and you all have been absolutely amazing. I mean, we want to praise you as much as possible because again, you've saved so many lives through converting over to a pet rescue center as opposed to getting puppies from the commercial breeding industry. It's just amazing. And we have worked more and more with stores over the last couple of years. We've now converted over 11 stores, and we're reaching out to more stores all the time. There are different models. Some host adoption events, some were selling puppies and decided to work with local rescues and shelters and animal control facilities to adopt out these animals. And again, by doing that, you're not only saving those animals that you're adopting out, you're also you're doubling that because you're also opening a place in those shelters where you're getting those animals. So again, it's just absolutely life-saving work. And I know that you all have done an amazing job. I think just within a year, you adopted out over 1,200 dogs and cats and kittens and
Really?
puppies. And
what's the grand total from all the years?
At this point, I'm not sure exactly, but it's well over 1,000. And I believe in 2015, I know the goal was to do 2,000 just in 2015.
Oh, wonderful.
And that was kind of the pace that we're on. We have a wonderful rescue director that we've been able to bring in from another that formerly was with another rescue group, and she's really helped us coordinate the foster family network as well as the volunteer network, and really just gotten good at making sure that we're doing all the right steps and saving these dogs.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
If you consider how many days there
And
are
cats.
in a year,
yeah,
how many dogs a day? I mean, you're doing at least 3 to 4
Yes.
easily. Wow, that's astounding.
Yeah, but I mean, we've developed relationships, with the local chapter of the Humane Society. The director, the one that's nearby us, and John knows Rachel Delaney, and she and I have we've developed a relationship where we're helping each other. And it's not a competition. It's not about that. And they're doing about 2,000 adoptions a year. So
That's
I mean, and I'll tell you what, that's not enough. They've taken on some other local animal control overflow, and I don't know how they do it because it's a ton of work that's extraordinarily stressful, and it takes a special kind of person to actually do what they're doing and to do what Else Up to the Rescue is doing. And as John knows, there's wonderful groups across the country, but I mean, it's heartbreaking, it's rewarding, and it's stressful all at the same time. And it's just it's
wonderful.
a lot.
You know what though? What I love the most is that you're like, la la la, I have a garden center. Hey, why don't I throw a bunch of pets back there?
Well, I tell
and
you
we're
what,
gonna give them freedom. It'll be wonderful.
Garden centers, you're going to see this shift, are going to become half garden centers, half pet stores in the next decade. And
Wow.
we're setting the example. And
Yeah.
garden centers across the United States have been putting in pet departments, and now are expanding and seeing, off the success that we've had. So yeah, you're not even going to think of it that way anymore. It's going to be, because what do you sell as a garden center? What do you sell in the wintertime? Nothing.
Dead
pretty
silence.
much nothing. Exactly. So
We're all like,
what do you do? And then you're going to lay off your
for
really
snow
key
removal.
employees over the winter. You want to keep them going, and so there's
Shovels.
It takes you got to sell a lot of shovels to turn a profit. I tell you what. So,
but it's interesting because this is, it's a not-for-profit. Oh my goodness! I hear
Is
a
that your
dog
dog,
barking.
John?
Yeah, that's Hope. That's my baby girl.
Oh, you have to hold her up so we can
Terrier.
see her. Is she
Yeah.
right there?
Oh, you want- yes.
Yeah,
She's
go
a
get her. I want to
sweetheart.
see her. That's so cute.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. But you have to imagine that, from a profitability perspective, even though you're doing good from a not-for-profit area, then you can sell the dog food and pet food and everything that goes along with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a great partnership.
The dogs need to be fed. They need, the accessories to go with them. They need training. They need
Look,
grooming.
there's his puppy.
Hi, Hope.
This is Hope. She's a rescue too.
She's like, who the heck is
Awesome.
talking? She's looking around like, seriously, I'm
Yeah.
hearing some voices. I can't figure it out.
She heard you earlier. She's trying to get your attention.
How long have you had her?
I adopted her in April.
Oh,
yes.
she's a newbie.
Yes, she is. She was. They think she's about 2 years old actually, and she's an absolute sweetheart. She stole my heart right away. Right,
Aw.
Hope?
Well, Hope is going to be heard by, hopefully millions of people that listen to this show.
There you go. There you go.
Again, and the wonderful thing too that you're doing at LSIP is you have an adoption agreement. I mean, your staff, everybody there really wants what's best for these animals, and that's so important to have everybody on the same page. And as you know, all your customers are coming in, supporting what you're doing, and it's just that's why this Puppy Friendly Pet Stores program is so important, because people want this. This is part of the solution.
Mm-hmm.
It's helping to drive down the pet overpopulation issue, help people. It's a win-win-win situation. And so,
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, thank you for everything you're doing.
And and John, this show will be online, so it will be viewed across the United States. And if there's a website, and I know there is, and I think you can tell us what it is, where if depending where you are, you can actually put in your zip code and you can find a puppy friendly pet store. And also
Yes.
there's a number that you can send a text message from your phone, and it
Yep.
will actually automatically text you back where your local puppy friendly pet stores are. So if you could tell the
Yes.
viewers and listeners where that website and that number.
You know what? If you go to our website at www.humanesociety.org/puppy stores, PUPPYSTORES, you'll go to our Puppy Friendly Pet Stores page, and you get a lot of information there and some photos of the LSIP stores and the wonderful work that y'all are doing. And in addition to that, if you move to a different area, you just want to find a Puppy Friendly Pet Store in your area, you just text PUPPY to 30644, and it'll give you the top 4 in your area. So again, this is a way that people can support the program. And again, it's basically another way that we can address the puppy mill issue. We're trying to address it from a legislative standpoint, from investigations, and again, outreach. And this is part of the outreach program and the wonderful work you're doing. Like I said, I can't speak highly enough about the wonderful work you're doing. It's life-saving. It really is. What you and Rachel and Sandy and Sean and everybody there are doing, it's just amazing. So thank you again so much.
Oh, no.
Awesome, John. Thank you so much for coming on and keep doing the great work that you're doing. We really appreciate it. We're going to have to go. Listeners, we'll be right back after a few short messages from our sponsors.
And Hope says hi to everybody too. Thanks again.
Bye, Hope.
Bye,
Bye, John.
Hope.
Y'all have a great day.
Thanks,
Thanks.
you too.
Have you ever had a great idea, something truly innovative that changed the way you live? Well, here's an idea you can put into practice that just might change the way you look at the world. If you want your lawn to be as green as it can be, why not use the best product you can find? It all starts with this, Black Beauty grass seed from Jonathan Green. Sure, there's a wealth of grass seeds to choose from, but Jonathan Green is a brand that rises above the rest. Genetically dark green in color, this seed has been used by sod growers for years nationwide. For For generations, the experts at Jonathan Green have sought to combine their scientific research with the specific applications that suit your individual lawn care challenges. What you see is what you get, and what you see is a lawn you can be proud of. Quite honestly, a Black Beauty lawn will redefine what a green lawn is supposed to look like. I know, you're probably thinking, I just don't have the time to make my lawn look like that. That's the best part. By following a few simple steps, you can be on your way to a lush green lawn in no time. And you don't have to be a lawn expert. Jonathan Green has invested many resources to research and develop their products so they perform exactly how you need them to. Black Beauty turf grasses possess an invisible waxy coating, very similar to what you would find on an apple, which helps to preserve the moisture in the blades of grass and helps to ward off stress from heat, cold, wind, and disease. With roots that can grow 4 feet deep into the soil, Black Beauty grass is meant to last. And at the end of the day, it's about enjoying the fruits of your labor. Black Beauty grass seed from Jonathan Green can help you paint the pretty pictures you've dreamed about. Time-honored tradition, scientific innovation, superior products. Jonathan Green, 5 generations of naturally beautiful lawns and gardens.
Do you want to stop garden insects before they become a problem? Bonide All Seasons Horticultural Spray is your answer and will stop your garden insects before they hatch. Early spraying smothers most insect eggs left behind by last year's plant-destroying insects. Bonide's All Season Horticultural Spray Oil will destroy insect eggs in early spring and, if used throughout the season, will control all stages of insects. Bonide All Season Spray Oil is recommended for use on shade trees, fruit trees, shrubs, roses, and ornamental plants. Bonide All Seasons Horticultural Spray Oil is easy to use and an all-natural product that can be used all season long. Bonide products are family-made in America. All Seasons Horticultural Spray Oil is available at your local hardware store, garden center, or farm feed store, or go to bonide.com for a retailer near you.